In 1991, a company specializing in three-rail O-scale brass construction locomotives released a massive articulated beast they once called the Bull Moose. Right-of-Way Industries was truly ahead of its time for the short time they were around. And today, we're going to take a look at this rare 1 of 100 built engines and see what makes it special over 30 years later. First, a bit of history. This 2AAO design predates the big boy most rail fans know and love, and was based on an expanded design of the common 280 consolidation. From the Vanderbilt tender to the general shape of the design, it's easy to see the ties to the Harriman consolidation. But the Bull Moose earned its name for hauling heavy freight over tricky mountain passes for the Union Pacific and Oregon Short Line. This unit here, number 3704, would have been one of only 3 assigned to the OSL. 70 Bull Moose locomotives will be put into service and see action in the 30s and 40s, with some lasting all the way to the end of the steam era in the mid-1950s, acting as Sherman Hill helpers. Back to this right-of-way example, only 100 of these were built to order from the Akron, Ohio-based company. Crafted out of brass in Korea, these engines were ahead of their time. Powerful Pitman motors moving the wheels, these engines were just as much the haulers in their model format as they were in real life. Right-of-way engines were known for being incredibly overbuilt and would sit on their test track hauling long lines of freight for days at a time. And they did all this while being able to traverse 042 curves. Yes, this is a scale-sized behemoth that's able to cheat using its wheelset wizardry to move around tighter turns, though I can confirm with my 036 curves that 042 is indeed their limit. Another thing that made these engines revolutionary at their time was their electronic features. They used recorded audio of real engines to play with synchronized chuffs and whistle blasts. I later found out that you could order one of these engines without that feature, as mine does not possess these. I suppose this is a bit of a budget build, but man, it's still a wonderful engine to run. Still, the rest of the details here, along with lit number boards, signal lights, a flickering ash pan, and these sharp, separately applied details make this thing wonderful to look at. There's even a soothed smoke unit on top, which is more of a simmer than puffs that most three-rail operators are used to. The brass work here is already impeccable, and sitting side by side with modern Lionel locomotives, you can't see the 30-year gap. It fits right in. Speaking of 30 years, I should probably touch on the price, as Right-of-Way Industries weren't just leaders in technology and innovative designs, they were some of the most expensive engines you could get. This Bull Moose was listed at $1,795 back in 1991. Adjusted for inflation to 2024, as I record this video, that's a $4,000 engine, well above anything offered today. While that does make it a hefty price tag for the 90s, this would be a much cheaper engine to build if it were made to the same 90s specifications in 2024, but I've got to imagine how operators justified that kind of cost back then. Built in smaller batches, offering designs never seen on three rails, using roller bearings in the wheels and all the advanced level features I've mentioned, yeah, these were truly ahead of their time. I can only imagine what this company would have been building if they were still around, or what the landscape of the entire hobby would look like with that kind of innovation driving things forward. Because these predate any sort of command control, I've been using this engine around the layout with my TMCC Powermaster set in conventional. I'm able to operate it here on our home rails, dominated by Lion Chief and command control engines, by applying the track power first to get the Bull Moose going, then I can get my other remotely controlled engines going. I kind of have to operate everything else around it, which means the Bull Moose sort of has the right-of-way, which seems fitting given who produced it. But I've also noticed that because its first mode isn't moving, I can leave it on the track in command mode and it'll stay put while other engines move around, so it's not impossible to work with. Still, something this big and this detailed could be a good candidate for an upgrade of some sort of command control. There's plenty of room in the tender to haul some extra electronics along if that's something you'd want to do to yours. I may or may not be planning something like that right now, but I wanted to capture this review in its original form first. Stay tuned to my channel and subscribe if you'd like to see this thing operate a little differently. Back to this Bull Moose, Mine is numbered 70 of 100, and I was fortunate enough to get this from Lou Schneider on the East Coast. He's a fantastic guy with an impressive layout that was even featured by the TCA, so if you haven't seen his layout, I've linked that video in the description. I've been on the hunt for one of these for a while, and Lou was incredibly helpful, provided plenty of insight, and was a true enthusiast through and through. I'll stay in touch with him as the Bull Moose continues working around our layout, hauling long lines of freight and bringing smiles to our visitors, especially my son. He requests to run this engine frequently enough that I haven't had time to take it off the rails for the upgrades I have planned yet, but that's fine with me. Also, another thank you to Art of Arts Model Trains for getting me in touch with Lou. Again, I had been on the hunt for a while, and he kept insisting that I check out the OGR forum to inquire about one. He was kind enough to inquire on my behalf first, and shortly after, that's when Lou mentioned that he had one. Maybe I should give OGR a shot. Somebody asked me, well, if you like command control, why did you bother getting this one? You may have to upgrade it later. And Right of Way Industries is the only company that ever made a 3-rail O-scale version of the Bull Moose. So I didn't have any other options. But this one's a damn good one anyways. Even if I never upgrade it, even if I still leave it in its conventional control form, it's fantastic. The details are superb. It's such a strong runner, and even though it's a little goofy looking, I like that. I like things that are unique. That's part of the reason why I was seeking this one out for so long. But yeah, if you want to see what's in store for this engine, stay tuned to our channel. Please subscribe, leave a comment, let me know what you think of these things. Do you guys have brass engines? What's kind of your take on stuff like this? Like, subscribe, again, all that fun stuff that smarter YouTubers than I tell you to do. Check out these videos at the end if you want to see more reviews that we've done, and we'll see you on the next one.